Hello, I'm Daz or Daz Panda. I'm an Overwatch 2 coach, and I was playing some 6v6 earlier in the arcade when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my next video, and I realized that after 8 years, almost 9 years of Overwatch, people still don't know how to position. I was on a map I'm going to use for an example later, and it's just dreadful positioning from people, and I really want to share the positioning guidelines for success, as you can see on the screen, so let's get into it. I'm going to start with two positioning guidelines for success, and those are going to be line of sight of both teams and cover. So obviously you need line of sight of the enemy team to shoot them, but you also need line of sight of your teammates, especially your supports. If this Reinhardt pushes up too far into courtyard, he's going to lose line of sight of his supports and probably die. But especially for a supports perspective, you are going to have teammates that are going to feed a lot. And, you know, this may look like a really safe position for the Ana, but a lot of the time it's going to be better to push up further with her team and enable the play. It goes with the saying ape strong together, right? So for cover, cover is extremely underrated because it allows you to break aggro in the middle of a fight. So if this Reinhardt is just in the middle of open, he has no cover. But if he plays around here, or even Lion, this Lion, he's able to break cover, try and get a reset from his HP and cooldowns, get healed up by his supports. And also, if this Tracer is playing here to start the fight, she's pretty well known where she is, but if she's starting to play here and hiding in a corner and going off of audio and pings, then she can try and surprise the enemy by using cover and to sneak around and go for a mean flank. The third positioning guideline for success is going to be rotation options. The amount of times I see Ana Briggs still force themselves up here every fight, even though the Winston's above them, stalling them for so long, the Ana throws a nade and they get nade and die is crazy. So what do you do? Well, you can go up here for the first time. Maybe you start the round up here. The Winston goes for a dive, you peel him off, but then you need to go somewhere else, most likely. If you're still in a fight, you can go and rotate here. This is a really popular option that a lot of the best backlines in the world do here. And what happens when you do that is that the Winston has to reset his scout, and any DPS that are pathing as well have to reset their scout, and they have to find you again. This Winston can't just dive from here. It won't work out. He's going to have to go closer, and this gives you options to poke him out and for your team to punish him. Another good option, if you lose a fight here, you can go here. This is a really underrated option, but it gives you a really good line of sight here to clear anyone, and then slowly move up. You can clear cage and then progress through the map. You can also go through pool. This is a really good option as well, and the Brig can move up in the fight, and the Ana can stay here, and the Ana is really hard to punish if you're playing for an offensive peel with the rest of your team and your Brig. And the Ana as well, she's going to have to look for her nades. She can't just preset the nades. And her whole team is just going to have to look to scout again. So always keep in mind your rotation options in the mid-fight and pre-fight. Don't always go to the same place. The fourth and final positioning guideline for success is going to be distance from angles, and this depends on the matchup. This takes from my video Mobility X Range. I'd highly recommend you check that out and skim it through. I also have shorts on my channel and my TikTok if you want to look through it that way. But this soldier is at a very inoptimal range for his position against this Widowmaker. So what he's going to want to do is he's going to want to flank, get in a closer range and position closer to the Widowmaker. She's going to have to turn. She's going to have to SMG. She's screwed, right? But the soldier, he's not going to always want to position that way. What if there's a Genji involved, right? Well, if this soldier goes for the flank, the Genji's just going to screw him over, dash, deflect, he's going to die, right? So what the soldier's going to do, he's going to start back, right? If the Genji's up here, he's going to want to get some help from his team to force him out, and he's going to want to poke him out. If this Genji peeks, he plays main, try to cross over here, he can poke him out, and the soldier's going to slowly move up, right? I'm going to do an example with tanks as well. If this Zarya is playing against a Sigma, at range, the Sigma's just going to poke her out, and she's going to lose all her bubbles, right? Well, the Zarya's going to want to leapfrog space a little bit, right? She's going to want to use one bubble, get to here, reset a little bit, and then slowly get closer to the Sigma, so his shield is quite ineffective, and he's just going to rely on Suck, which the Zarya can just bypass immediately, right? But if he's playing against a D.Va, then the Zarya could just play at range, right? The D.Va gets close, then it could be a bit scary for the Zarya and her teammates. So you just want to constantly beam down this D.Va. Wherever she goes, you want to be on her ass constantly. And that's playing distance from angles, and it does depend on the matchup, as I talk about in my video, Mobility X Range. I'm going to start with a bad example before I get into some good examples that check all 4 marks of the position guidelines for success. And it's going to be backlines going all the way up here. Even with the map rework, I still think it sucks, right? If the enemy team is set up here in any capacity, they have positions here, 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 whatever, going all the way up here is not a good idea, right? If you go through the 4 positioning rules or guidelines, the LOS you have is terrible. You can't see your team can't see you. You can't see the enemy, so you don't know where they are. So your team has to scout for you entirely, and that puts away from them doing what they want to do, whether it's setting up or poking. Cover is good here, sure, that's one. Your rotation options are nothing, right? You can leave, or you have to commit to all the way going through here. And the biggest thing is your distance from angles is really bad, right? You can kite a bit here, but the monkey can just choke hold you. Yeah, sure, you can go for a counter dive, but I think it is underrated just to play main and wait. This positioning could be good once your team has won a fight and you can sit up here, go through here, go through here. But playing main, it really does check all the boxes, and this goes for a lot of different maps. You have LOS of your team playing here, for example. You can see your team if they go here, if they want to jump up here, here, here. You can see the enemy from all those options. You have cover. You can go into this building. You have this building as cover. You can go over here. You have cover. You can kite back. You have cover. You have rotation options. You can go up here, right? You can push forward. You can go through here. And then you also have really good distance from angles. If the monkey's up here, it's a bit tricky, but you can look to just kite back, and it's much easier. If there's someone's up here, you can see them. You can see them from up here really well. You can see them from up here. So don't fall into this trap. Don't force this shit. It's like a 2CP checkpoint in disguise, or choke point in disguise. This is a 6v6 arcade game I play, and it's actually my motivation for making this video. It's because this position is terrible. Sure, you could start here for the initial trade if both teams walk up here. But past that, you have pretty much no LOS on point, if any LOS on point, which is where the fights are going to take place. You have rotation options to here, and you can push forward, but I think that's a terrible rotation option because the enemy team, if they're on point, they could just pincer you and you die immediately. And you cannot see anyone coming. If they flank through, or if they start through here, you can't see them. You aren't going based off of audio alone. And if someone flanks through here, you're screwed. So only start here, maybe, but playing out here is so much better depending on your side. Playing through here is so much better. If you can get to the high ground like this diva, going through this way is better, and it helps you actually support the point fight, which is what matters in Overwatch. This is a comp game I played recently. I'm going to use this as a really quick example. So I'm playing main, and that gives me good LOS of my team. I can see them from pretty much anywhere. I can also see the enemy. I have really good cover. I can play behind here. I can push up, play behind here. I have rotation options. I can go up here. Probably not now because the Reaper's there. I can push up. I can go here. And I also have really good distance so that I can use my speed ring or my shift to get out of trouble. This is an underrated owl match for me. I remember seeing this in person. It was quite fun. But besides the point, this is amazing positioning from London Spitfire, especially into this comp. This goes a bit into the mobility X range, but looking at it from a positioning point, they have LOS onto here, anywhere pretty much. And they also have cover on point, the little pillars here. They can go behind point if they want to get the mini. And they also have the shield that helps, but you don't want to rely on that. They have really good rotation options. Even without the Symmetra, you can speed to here. Or you can go through here. Or you can even rotate forward. And again, the sim allows you to do that really easy. You can TP up to the high grounds as well. And you have really good distance from angles. And into a Doom, Genji, and Echo comp, that matters so much. This positioning as a team is incredible from London and super underrated. They do this so many times, and that's why they were such a good team. My last example is going to be a bit of a blast from the past, but to be honest, this is a really good example still. It's how I learned it, and it still applies even though it's 6v6 in Overwatch 1. I would have gotten Overwatch 2 examples, but I don't think anyone plays Brig Zen anymore in Overwatch 2, which is a shame because it's an amazing comp. So if you look at this retake from the support's POV, you can see where Eviltal and Monk, one of my favorite players, are playing. And if you look at this position, right, they have really good distance from angles. You can see them coming from over here by the high ground. You can see them coming from here. You can see them coming from here, here, here. You have incredible distance from angles, and you have incredible LOS of your team and the enemy. You have cover here that you can play around on both sides, and if you want to push up, you can play the cover here. And you have really good rotation options. You can rotate to high ground if you want, rotate forward, and you can rotate to here if you want to get a slight push up, but you don't want to commit to doing this. This is one of the best spots in the entire game, I think, is a backline. You get all four marked off beautifully. So let's get into the recap. Let's do a quick recap. So for the positioning guidelines for success, we have LOS. LOS is good, so you can see the enemy team and your own team. You don't want to push past your supports at LOS. And supports, you sometimes want to push up with your team, even if it might seem more dangerous. It isn't. You're helping your team, and the team is helping you. With cover, it helps you reset aggro, get your HP back and CDs back for your team and you, and it also hides your positioning in pre-fight. For rotation options, it can help you get out of trouble if your position's being compromised. It gives you options based on the enemy's position. Remember the Ilios example, you can rotate to low grounds, high grounds, depends on where they are, and also resets the enemy scout, so they have to look for you, and that takes time for them. And then distance for angles, that helps you set up your hero's value in each matchup. It can be close on a flank or playing main with distance, depending on if you're the soldier versus the Genji or the soldier versus the Widow, right? So that's going to be it. Please give me any feedback and video ideas in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching.